Well, welcome everybody. Welcome back. We will go ahead and start this new meeting. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Orlis,
Here.
Halliburton,
Here.
Morales,
Here.
Nash,
Here.
Stead,
Here.
Willits,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. Now we've got some minutes.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the minutes for the work session and regular meetings of October 21st, 2025.
Second. We have a motion and a second, clerk?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willits,
Yes.
Orlis,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
all in favor, motion carries.
All righty. So now the main event. We've got some special business. Is this the last celebration, Doug? Or are there more? I have a proclamation that I would love to read to honor Doug Holloway. First, I just want to say, now at the city council meeting, just how grateful I am to you for your service. You have served the city with honor and commitment and just like plain old fashioned joy every day. And you're leaving a mark that this will give a nod to in some ways, but a mark beyond the parks and programs that started under your watch. Mark of people, like a really strong team that cares deeply about you and that learns so much from you, and people throughout the city that really feel the same. And so the days are winding down now. Friday's the last day. So this is the last Tuesday of a council meeting. But want to read this and I just want you to and your family to know how deeply grateful I am to you for all the years of service. And it's been fun from the day I was on the Parks Board and you joined the city through all these years. It's been fun. Thank you. And with that, whereas Doug Holloway has served the city of Boise and its residents proudly for 24 years as recreation superintendent and the director of Parks and Recreation Department. And whereas the 27 city park sites added during his career, along with the countless improvement projects he has overseen, have helped create a nationally recognized world-class system for our residents and visitors to enjoy across all of Boise's neighborhoods. And whereas the completion of a 55-acre Esther Simplot Park in 2016, one of the most complex builds of Doug's tenure, spurred economic development, increased rec opportunities along the Boise River, and enhanced the city's ribbon of jewels parks, named in honor of some of Boise's finest female civic leaders. And whereas his leadership led to the realization of the Warm Springs Grill and Golf Community Facility, a state-of-the-art grill, pro shop, and neighborhood gathering place for golfers and residents. And whereas his legacy includes the preservation of more than 2,200 acres of open space in our foothills and beyond. And whereas his commitment to creating a city for everyone includes removing financial barriers to participation by increasing the number of scholarships the department provides for youth and adults of all ages and abilities, from 244 activities in 2001 to more than 20,000 in 2024. And whereas the city of Boise is proud to recognize Doug Holloway for his incredible service and relentless pursuit of affordable and accessible park and recreation opportunities for everyone through successful partnerships and collaborations that will benefit future generations of Boiseans. I, Lauren McLean, the mayor of Boise, do hereby proclaim October 28th, 2025 as Doug Holloway Day in the city of Boise.
Madam Mayor, thank you for that. And thank you, Doug, for being here. And we're glad to be able to share in this with you. I just want to talk about like your legacy that you're leaving. And I think one of the most profound impacts that's been clear to me, both from what I've witnessed, but also attending your retirement parties, is the impact that you've had on your staff. And I mean, we know the adage, you don't quit a job, you quit a boss. And I think it's very clear that you've been very effective at keeping highly competent employees around you that I hope will carry on the culture that you've established in our parks department. It's a culture that we want to model throughout the city. Last night I had a 93-year-old woman call me and talk to me about Spalding Ranch for about a half hour. And I'm just telling her all the different things that you've done over the last 2 years there. And she was talking to me how she wanted a petting zoo there before she dies. And I'm like, I don't know if I can deliver that, but we have the best people on the job delivering it around the clock. And I made her promise that she'd be there for the ribbon cutting next year when we finish that pathway. So thank you so much. There's so many times I've told you this personally, but there's so many times where we have a problem in the city in some other department, and we're just like, I think Doug Holloway could unwind something like this pretty quickly. And thank you so much for your service. And we just to your staff, thank you. And Lisa, Sarah, all of you, we really appreciate it. And we hope that we can keep Doug's spirit alive and well in the Boise Parks Department.
Madam Mayor, Doug, thank you so much for the great service, all the smiles and hugs. We sure will miss having you around here. I think that the legacy is that, we are now, I think under your tenure, we're not, we become a city with great parks, but also a city defined by those parks and the open space. And I think that's a huge accomplishment that I'm sure would have been difficult to forecast years ago. But I think your vision and your collaboration with other staff members, with the elected officials and the community have really brought it all together. So I appreciate that. It feels like you've maybe touched every corner of this city. And it's a legacy that will be enjoyed for generations. Thanks, Doug.
Madam Mayor. Doug, I hope this is all really uncomfortable for you. These are words that you do need to hear, though, because I think that when somebody steps away, the retirement, the words, there is much for people to share how much they care about you, as it is, for you to, to celebrate that moment, because you've impacted people in a lot of ways, and they want to make sure that they have the opportunity to say thank you. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done for me personally. I appreciate what you've done for all of the staff, the leadership that you've shown, the legacy that you've created, a department that is not going to miss a single step going forward. And I really appreciate what you've done for kids in this community. And I think that's the thing that sticks with me the most, because I've seen these kids, I know these kids, and I can think about times where you and I got to be at the opening of Hillcrest Community Center. And these are kids who maybe could have slipped through the cracks. We just had a presentation by our police department here a second ago, and we talked about crime prevention. Well, what those community centers are doing over there is crime prevention. They're transforming the lives of kids. They're starting them on a new path, and those kids are going to go on to do amazing and beautiful things. And you've been part of that. I can think about our Road Skate Park and Molnar Skate Park, teens who don't have a place to go once they leave those community centers. And now they've got a place to go where they belong, maybe a place where they don't really feel like they belong anywhere else. But here they can come, they can be around other teens, they can be active, they can be social. And again, it transformed their lives. I remember before I was on city council, I got to be part of helping advocate for our bike park, our mountain bike skills park. And things went just a little sideways towards the end. And there were a couple of neighbors that were, not happy. And I felt like the world was coming to an end. I didn't know what to do. And Doug came over to me and he goes, Jimmy, it's going to be okay. And now I look back at that project and I think how much the community would lose their mind if we tried to take that thing away and make it go back to what it was before. And so I think that it takes somebody who has that vision, who has that patience, who has that knowledge of like what parks can actually do for people. And then here's where I want to say the thing that I think has impacted me the most as far as what you told me over the years. When I was on the Parks and Rec Commission meeting, you and I met pretty early on, and it's like, what are some things that you really want to make sure that I know about what's going on with parks going forward? And what you said is like, well, the first thing that you need to know is that it's parks and recreation. And that recreation component is so important. And I will never forget that because I think about it all the time. And I try hard to make sure that when I talk about it as parks and recreation, because we do have all these amazing parks. They do a lot of things for all over the people, all over our valley. But what we do with recreation and services and programs, whether those are at our community centers, our summer camps, our softball games, like across the board, touches thousands and thousands and thousands of people every single year. It enhances their lives. It brings them together with people who are maybe a little bit different than they are. And it's really what bonds our community together. So, Doug, I appreciate you so much. Again, what you've done for the city, what you've done for myself, your staff, our kids, the future of this, and the legacy that will continue to grow with each and every one of you moving forward. So, right on, Doug. Appreciate you, buddy.
Madam Mayor. Doug, thank you so much. I love bring this up often, but I just wanted to point out, make sure everyone knew that, as far back as I could go in the park score and see Boise, which was 2016, Boise was 43rd in the park score index. It's now 20th in 2025. That index is a national comparison of park systems across the most populated cities in the United States, to measure them according to 5 categories: excellent city park system, access, investment, amenities, and equity. And we focus so much on all these facilities. Some of those were mentioned today. They'll remain an incredible legacy for the work that you've helped lead and your team has helped execute. But I hope that you see it in the people as you continue to enjoy our community. Those people are the people enjoying those facilities, those community centers, those programs. It's also it's the people that's serving in them, having an opportunity to be an important part of our city team. And it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you. It's past almost 2 years now for me. I wish it had started sooner. You're an incredible person to get to work with. But also even before that, as just a normal neighbor several years ago, coming to a Parks and Rec Commission meeting to thank you for working on Bowler Park in my neighborhood, and to make sure to look at that crazy pathway that connects up to my neighborhood. And you did, and that pathway continues to remain in good condition. And before that, it was gravel and very dangerous. But it's just appreciate the impact that will continue to reflect in all of our lives, our kids' lives, and appreciate your service. Thank you.
Madam Mayor. Doug, I want to thank you. I agree with everything everyone has said, and it's hard to top that because your impact to the parks, the recreation, and what you're leaving behind with your team is going to benefit so many in our community. I know as a kid growing up here, I tell people this often. Me and my sisters, our vacations in summer were Ann Morrison. We didn't go out of town. We didn't travel. We went to Ann Morrison Park. And it was so special to have that time there and enjoy the family time and to enjoy that community and that wide open space. And now I see it with my daughters. She's hanging out with her friends at the park, at Moeller Park with lots of other kids. These are just lasting memories and lasting legacies that you have built for our community. And really, you're turning these open spaces into happy spaces. I really appreciate you and hope your retirement will be peaceful on a park bench at sunset. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
Doug, I hope you're reveling in this. Most people don't get this. And if they do, it's a eulogy. So you're really lucky. Another sincere thanks to you, Doug. Not only myself, but for District 1. And as people have been talking, I've been thinking, what parks can do for folks. And we know that they give people a place to gather. They give people a place to play. They give people a place to meet, to learn. All of these things are facilitated through parks, and you've been an important part of that, as well as your staff. And I hope that as you go on to this next chapter and you are in our parks, that you can actually relax. I hope that you can just walk through one of our parks and gather and play and meet and learn and do all those things that everyone else is doing as a civilian and not as the director. So that you can enjoy what you and Boise's built, and that you can just have a little moment where you know that you played an important part in this, but even more so that others get to play in that part and and we're all playing in those every day. And so thank you again. I do truly hope you get a vacation because you've earned it.
Thanks, Lucy. Say anything. Yeah, you're welcome.
If you come up here, we will ask you questions about the Whitney pool cost.
Like Courtney says, there's not a microphone I don't like. So, well, thank you all for the very kind words. And, you know, I've had the greatest job in the greatest organization, you know, in the greatest city. How do you beat that, right? And to end my career, my last 24 years working for the city has been just absolutely amazing. But it's working with these people, right? And I think what all of you have said, particularly Council President Nash, that is the legacy there because we won't skip a beat moving forward. Because we have such a great team in place. And it's not just the leaders you see behind me, but it's the entire department. And then it's the entire city. I mean, the support we have received from every department, internal, external, it takes all that to make a world-class park and recreation system. And so that's been in place from day one. And your support, again, the kind words are great. Thank you so much. But it's you who put the wheels in motion, provide funding, have the ideas, work with our constituents and our community to come up with these great park systems, recreation programs. Those community centers we open, and I think we have 10 now, don't open on their own without support from the council because it's free for every kid. So someone has to pay for that. And that's you all who have saw that need in our community, working closely with the Boise School District and the West Ada School District to provide places for kids to go. So the parks are important. Thank you, Jimmy. I did actually tell him that because everybody calls it the park system or the parks department. And I spent 11 years as a superintendent of recreation correcting people that it's actually parks and recreation. So when Jimmy asked me, I said, if you just do me a favor and refer to it as parks and recreation, that'd be great. I think Roseanne Brown behind me would also appreciate that. But again, thank you so much, Mayor, and your leadership, and members of the council for your leadership. This city's in great hands. This organization is, and so is this city. So thank you all so much. I appreciate it. And so what do I do with the day? Like, do I get like free food in town or something?
You'll have to work
Free
that out
beer?
outside of this building.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious what all that means, you know? Anyway, thank you so much, Mayor.
I think you just get to tell everybody and can make it what you want of it.
There you go. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Enjoy the afternoon, everybody. Next up is our consent agenda.
All right. Madam Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second discussion.
Madam Mayor, I just point out a couple of resolutions on here. Two related to the Whitney pool, both for the contract for the architectural engineering construction, and then also for the construction manager general contractor services for Whitney pool. And then as we last week we celebrated the announcement of the land conveyance for Hummel Park and also the generous donation of the Sats family for those Foothills property, the 44 acres, I believe, near Table Rock.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Just another comment. I'd like to thank the City of Boise team and Veolia Water for being such good partners, for being able to provide this opportunity for that neighborhood pocket park. But specifically, Veolia Water, I think, has something like over 80 water wells throughout the city, pumping water, fresh water to all of our homes. And just great to be able to see this old well site be able to become a park and be able to provide them property at Manitou Parks. We'll see a little bit of work there as they install a new well there to be able to help continue to pump fresh water into our homes. So just want to thank all involved for creating that relationship to be able to make this possible.
Madam Mayor, I'll just make a quick comment. Just really, really excited to see these contracts moving forward for Whitney Pool. We know we all want it the next day when we get approval for funding, and these were just taking steps to make sure that we continue the good work to see this pool happen. So very excited. And I'm glad to see that we're continuing to push this forward.
All right, clerk.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. And now we've got first reading.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that all ordinances on the first reading calendar be read by number and title only and filed for the second reading calendar.
Without objection.
ORD 37-25, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Boise City, Idaho, terminating the revenue allocation area for the River Myrtle Old Boise Urban Renewal Plan as amended, requiring distribution of any surplus determined to exist pursuant to Section 50-2909 Idaho Code, authorizing the city clerk or the Urban Renewal Agency of Boise City, Idaho, also known as Capital City Development Corporation, to file the ordinance together with the boundary map with the Office of the County Recorder, the County Assessor, and the Idaho State Tax Commission as provided in Section 63-215 Idaho Code, providing that a copy of this ordinance shall be given to each of the taxing entities affected by said revenue allocation area, approving the summary of the ordinance and providing an effective date.
Thank you. And now third reading.
Madam Mayor, I move that further reading of ORD 35-25 and ORD 36-25 be dispensed with and the record reflect they have been read the third time in full.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, clerk.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries. ORD 35-25, an ordinance, ZOA 21-2, amending Title 11, Chapter 7, Boise City Code to add Section 4, Mario Farm Specific Plan, adapting the Mario Farm Specific Plan and providing an effective date. ORD 36-25, an ordinance, CAR 21-22, for property located at 7421 South Maple Grove Road, annexing 380.7 acres of certain lands and territories situated in Ada County, Idaho, adjacent and contiguous to the corporate limits of the city of Boise City, establishing and determining the land use classification of said 380.7 acres as SP-04 Mario Farm Specific Plan, establishing and determining the sensitive lands overlay district of said acres, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such annexation and zone change, directing the city engineer to lodge and file a legal description and map for said annexed lands and territory, providing that copies of this ordinance shall be filed with the Ada County Auditor, the Ada County Treasurer, the Ada County Assessor, the Ada County Recorder, and the Idaho State Tax Commission, providing that a copy of said legal description and map of said annexed lands and territory be recorded with the Ada County Recorder and filed with the Ada County Assessor and the Idaho State Tax Commission as required by law, and providing an effective date.
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD 35-25 and ORD 36-25 be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Madam Mayor.
Yep.
I would just note a couple things on here. I don't think this will be the last time that we see stuff from Murillo Farms, given the size of this development, and we know that these types of specific plans can come back to us just as Harris Ranch regularly does. There are a couple outstanding items that I wanted to address. One, about 7 or 8 months ago, council did direct staff to come back with an impact fee area proposal for parks. And it's still our expectation that that comes back so that as this does get developed, we are able to collect impact fees in the commercial area that's not currently collecting local impact fees, but also that regional park fees that are collected in this area will benefit that area. And then additionally, as an extension of that, to my understanding, based on conversations that we've had here during our budget setting, that we have not renegotiated impact fees for parks and other things in Southwest Boise since 2006. And it's my understanding that there is still some outstanding work to do with the county on their proposed impact fees. And I hope that this could be a topic for consideration so that we can make sure that the folks benefiting from parks development out there are paying into it, both on the commercial side and the residential side, but also that the impact fees that are collected there will benefit that part of town.
Madam Mayor, I'll just note that there's myself and I think at least one other council member who didn't vote to approve this when it came in front of council originally. I'll be voting to approve this today. I think that it's important sometimes if we don't if we don't get our way, or if we think that we should do something different, once that path is begun to move forward, I think that there's important to commit to making sure that it's done and it's done well. And so I just want to make it clear at this point that like if the application came in front of us today, I'd probably still be voting the same way. But now I find it important to make sure that as we develop this, that we do it right, that I'm committed to making it the best that it possibly can be, both for the development and then for the neighbors who are around those areas. And so I'm committed with the rest of council to making sure that we get that done.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willits,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.